Well, welcome to my kitting up video. My name is Cosplay Vicar. I have been cosplaying as Darth Vader now for just under 2 years. I got my Darth Vader costume built during the pandemic. It was a pandemic build. And I'm absolutely loving it, wearing it wherever I can. And a number of you have said, can I make a video on how I kit up in my Darth Vader? I can. There's a number of really good ones out there, really good videos out there. This is just my attempt to show you. There are times when it's not as straightforward. Something goes wrong, you drop it on the floor and you are stuck. So there is a procedure to kind of kitting up that really does help me try to layer it in a way that there becomes a point where I just can't bend over anymore and pick anything up. So I've got to kind of put things in place before those emergency moments. If you find this video helpful, I'd love you to subscribe. I'd love you to click that like button. It really does help the channel. It's really been good fun in the last 2 years, just kind of building this channel up. And we're getting there, we're nearly 1,000 subscribers. So I would love you to subscribe and join us as we talk about cosplaying. So here we go. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna talk through how I put it on, when I put things on, but I'm gonna just mention where I got things from as well. So if you are wanting to build your own Darth Vader, I'm gonna let you kind of know where I got my bits from. Now, some of it I made myself, some of it I bought, and there's always a trade in cosplay. Can I make this myself and save the money, or is this something that's really worth investing in? And things like capes and helmets, they're the kind of things that you've just got to invest in. If you get the wrong cape or you get the wrong helmet, it just all goes wrong. So let's make a start, because it will take us a little while. I use these kind of shields inside my boots just to keep them in shape. Now, these boots, they're Russian military boots. I got these from Russia. I'll put a link in the bio, and they just work beautifully for me. I've put some risers in there. People say, how tall are you when you've got your Vader on? I absolutely have no idea. Nobody has ever got a tape measure out and measured me, so I don't actually know. There we go. So the boots are Russian ex-army officer boots. And then once I've done that, I put on the shins straight away, because once you've kitted up, there's no way you can bend over to put these on. There we go. These were 3D printed myself. So I saved some money by 3D printing those, and I put a liner inside so they're a bit more comfortable. They just got some regular plastic clips that you see on belts and yeah, that kind of thing. So there you go. So they just nicely kind of sit down there. The right and the left are slightly different. You've just got to learn which way around they go. I've marked mine with an R and an L, because I'm foolish and I do put them on the wrong way around. But there we go, shins first. Now, once I've done the shins, I'm going to put my balaclava on now, partly because my hair is annoying me, but it's the thing that I always forget. So I tend to put it on quite early on, because if not, I forget that I've got to put it on. And then I'm like, oh, it's too late now. I've got everything else on. Okay, after the boots, balaclava, the next thing is this. So all my leathers came from Phoenix Props. The leathers and the capes and the codpiece all came from Phoenix Props. I found them to be as good value as I'm going to get, but really good quality. I'm just going to take my microphone off and clip it back on in a second. Trying to do it on your own under pressure, it's never as straightforward. Right, so once you've got your leathers on, the next thing to put on is the codpiece. Often people say to me, how tight do you want it? And I say, as tight as you can, an extra 10%, please. I like to have the codpiece as tight as I can. When I'm doing it myself, the only way of doing this is to wrap it round as tight as I can and do it like that. that will now stay. There, okay. Have to keep moving the microphone around. It's the best point. So usually I'd ask somebody, is that straight? Is that in the right place? Feels about right. So 10% tighter than what people would normally do. Feels about right. The next thing now is the chest box. Now my chest box was 3D printed myself. I've already turned the lights on. Now in here I have a speaker and a little MP3 player. And that's where the breathing sound comes from my Vader. What I'm going to do at this point is put the MP3 player in. I'm going to turn the speaker off. I've got a little acre inside of here, so the on and off is just the wheel at the back, which I can reach and do myself. Now the straps for my chest box, I got from a leather guy to make them for me. I wanted them to as screen accurate as I could. I wanted nice leather, so I actually gave an outline of what I was looking for. And what I've done is I've got two poppers here. Now they will attach to the underside of my shoulder armour. It really frustrates me when you see people's chest boxes wonky, and a number of my early troops it was always wonky. So a couple of poppers in there means that I can now clip that to my shoulder armour, and it just keeps it nice and square. So, yep. Next thing is the inner cape. Okay. Go, a nice inner cape. Wool by Phoenix Props, I love it. It's warm in winter, it's extra warm in summer, but it just gives the right hang for Vader. Cotton for me just doesn't hang in the right way. Wool, it's got a bit of substance to it. Right, so once you've got your inner cape on, the next thing now is my belt. Now my belt I made myself. There's videos on my channel about how I made these, and I know some of those who do watch the channel have used them to make your own. And in here I've just got a little switch to turn my lights on. Now they're just powered by really basic fairy lights. I've gone for a very simple setup for lighting those. This will be the one that's most difficult on my own, because I just can't see if I've got it square or not. So forgive me if not, but what I've got is two pieces of Velcro that I hold in place. Doesn't look square to me. Let's just move that over. So what the Velcro does, it just helps me make sure I've got that lined up at the front, round to the back. And then you pull in, so you want your inner cape to match the edges of your belt boxes. If you've got a belly, that's less likely to happen, but you want to try and create that physique of Vader. And the way you do that is by getting a V shape there with your inner robe. Try and give yourself a bit more of a chest. Wonderful. At this point, I would then add my belt swinger. I've got two lightsabers, one that has a blade and lights up. The other is just a belt swinger. We're going to put the belt swinger on today. We're not going to use the Saber. Okay. Now, before I go any further, what I now do is set up my microphones. So I want to make sure my mics are working, and I've got it all clipped onto my belt so that when I actually turn the mic on my, in my helmet, it just all flies and works. There's nothing worse than trying to fiddle with your microphones once you're fully kitted up. So I have got this 1980s, it's a UK police officer radio pack for their walkie-talkies that would go on their belt. It was just perfect size for what I needed. So in here, I have an extra battery just to keep my microphone fully charged. That all clips into my Zoom. Zoom is on. That goes in to the box. Now that all could just Velcro to my belt, but I like to have it nice and solid. And it also kind of hides the shape of it a little bit, which is, you don't want children seeing your speaker setup. You lose all of the credibility. Now what I've got here is a speaker which will go on the underside of my cape, just here. Mic goes in.
Speaker mode.
Okay, now did I turn everything on right? Let's have a look. Okay, so now I just hide that back there. You do not know the power of the dark side of the Force. Beautiful. So it's the last few pieces. The way that I do this, I put my cape on first, and then I put my shoulder armor on next. I've seen people do this in different ways. I just can't lift my arms as high as I need to do it the other way around. The cape is nice and heavy, which means it hangs really well. But the issue with that is always going to be the issue is always going to be that putting your shoulder armor on becomes slightly more hard work. There we go. Move it down a bit. Gloves, helmet. At this point, I generally have a little bit of a sip of water. Kind of compose myself for a second. Just make sure that I have got everything that I'm expecting to happen. Like I do. Okay. So this is from Bookface on the 501st Forum, also known as Skunk Work Props. My helmet and my chest armor comes from him. I've glued my shoulder bells on permanently. I don't have massive shoulders. I'm not a bodybuilder. So what I've done is I've put some extra padding inside just to raise it up a little bit, and I've permanently glued those in. I've done that by putting some little brackets inside and used a hot glue gun. Never had a problem with those coming free. And then in here you see I've got these two poppers which will clip on here as well. So there we go. Hopefully that mic will keep working. So there we go. It's 99% all sorted. So at this point, turn my breathing on. I'm going to turn that right down because I don't want to overpower the microphone. Okay. Gloves go on. And the helmet.
Return those stolen keys to me. You are on no diplomatic mission to Alderaan. Join me and you and I could rule the galaxy together. You do not know the power of the dark side of the Force.
Well, there you go. That is my kitting up my Empire. Empire Strikes Back, Vader. Relatively straightforward, a little bit fiddly when things are behind your back, but that's how it goes. The next thing for me to modify is I'll probably get a new set of boots, but after that, it'll all be done. Any questions, do put them in the comments, and I'd love to explain to you how I put it together if you want to know anything else. Until next time, enjoy cosplaying, and hopefully we'll see you at an event this coming year.